Today we actually have a very interesting personality in front of you, and I'm really very excited to come forward and have a conversation with her. We have Miss Pinky Roy, who has also been my teacher, and we've been friends. And I'm glad that she accepted my invitation and came over. Hi, Miss Pinky.
Hi, thank you.
It's a pleasure having you, and I'm excited to know your stories and how you feel the youth can actually empower our society as we move forward. Before we get started, I would actually like you to tell us about yourself, your story, your struggles, and how you have made where you are today.
I didn't make it so big yet, but then whatever it is, I started teaching very young, I think at the age of 22. And then my previous, the batch that was previous your batch was my first batch in Bajoria. So you were technically the second batch. So it started from there, and having been young and dealing with young children who were just like 3 years or 4 years just younger to me. I mean, that was a challenging experience, yet that really taught me one thing, that though we had just a gap of 4 years, 5 years or whatever, but people, the youngsters these days, or that time, even 10 years back, the mentality that they shared, and I as a teacher came to know children and students of that genre, how they are, what they wanted, how they perceive life, or what are their future plans, what were we taught and how they were being taught was really different. And when I became a teacher, though young, but still there was a huge difference between how I was taught, I was raised, I was given any values, that is education, academic, moral values or whatever. It was really different with the kind of students that I met as my students, the youngsters. So it started with Bajoria, and I think I taught in Bissau College also. I also taught in KL Bajoria College. I dealt with children, I mean like students who were third year students, and I was 22 then, just completed my masters. So yeah, having dealt with different age group, really built that that intensity in me in knowing people and the psychology of different stages of people, like students, call it any gender, but different stages, college stage, school stage, class 6 children. I taught in all the KVs in Shillong, all the KVs. So teaching children from 6 to 12 was a challenge. But coming across people from various states, because KV is like that, it's like a mini India, you get so many people around coming from different parts of the country, and you deal with different kinds of people coming from different cultural background, communities.
Right.
And economically also, different status people. So you get to know people, and these, I have learned till date that different factors are responsible in raising a kid and shaping their minds and their outlook, everything. I mean, like, the factors really matter. It does, like nowadays what binds everybody together is internet, social media. But if you really check, maybe we are all binded by this thing, the common link, but still, the factors that matters in raising a kid, in shaping their mentality and what kind of outlook they have, the cultural background, the family dynamics that they call it, everything else matters. How a youth is developed into a youth. Okay, now currently I'm teaching in Bangalore, so I thought I would meet students who are different from what students were in Shillong. But it isn't like that. They are not totally different. They are maybe culturally, community, they are different. Community wise, they are different. But every child, I mean, like, as they grow, they perceive their life in the same way. Everyone wants to score good marks in class 12 and 10th and get through and become something, and achieve something in life, earn a name. Nowadays it's more like become popular in the social media platform. Everybody has the same aim and objective, but it differs. Somewhere there's something that differs from man to man, of course, but children everywhere, they are same. And how we deal with them, or how we understand their psychology, that is what the society needs to work. and the elders, like, it's on us, the responsibility is on me, the parents, the relatives, the society, the neighborhood, the school teachers, principal, everybody plays a role in shaping the minds of youngsters.
Absolutely.
So this was my journey. I'm like starting from here at the age of 22 and reaching till here, now working in Bangalore. Students have been part of my life, intricate part, and they have been very close to me. I always get very very closely related with my students. We have a personal touch like they have. You would know it much better. So yeah, students have been my life, and teaching is my passion also. So yeah, this is how I get in here.
It's actually very exciting, and somehow I've always wanted to ask you this. Have you always wanted to be a teacher?
I can't answer this question because as I grew up, I come from a middle class family. So as I grew up, it was like I didn't have a choice. I wanted to do English honors, and so I did literature, and then I did my masters, and then I got into teaching, because then Shillong didn't have any much such exposure to anything. I mean, like as an English student or literature student. So there was one option. Everybody was like, get into teaching. So I got into teaching, and that was quite a modest job for a woman. So I got into teaching, then did my B.Ed eventually, and then became a certified teacher.
Is it not a modest job for a man?
It is, but you know how the society perceives it. Like for a woman, it's a very modest job, and how I was told, like by my relatives or neighbors or whoever, the elders, yeah, you can join teaching, you can be a good teacher. And I used to take a lot of tuitions, by the way, to earn pocket money that time, when I was a college student. So yeah, I got into teaching. I would not say by chance, but it developed over the years, and then I just opted for teaching.
Right.
Teaching is fun. If you talk about the pros and cons, every job has that, but teaching is fun because you're shaping minds, you're talking to, human beings who are interactive, who are talking, they're not machines, and you get to learn so much.
So it's always intimidating talking to a teacher, and especially now that I'm actually coming up and hosting you on my podcast channel here. But I've been a teacher myself, and honestly, it's the just like the way you put it, that people during our time were a little different, and we looked up to. There was a gap, right? There was definitely a sense of gap and a sense of respect, right? And I think after the digital bubble sort of a thing that was there, now everybody has access to YouTube and free Gyan, apparently. So what happens is they feel that whatever they're learning in classroom can be done at home.
Yeah, that is one thing that I get to hear from students these days. Like, you teach a lesson, they are not interested, or you do something, even the maths teacher says, like I remember we in our maths class or science class, we had to be 100% giving our 100% in the class, because we know if we miss this class, we're not going to understand this topic. But nowadays children are like, okay, YouTube में देख लेंगे, ये कर लेंगे, कहीं से पढ़ लेंगे, and there are multiple apps these days where you can actually buy and get access to. But I don't know whether you agree with me or not, but I think classroom teaching is very, very effective, because when you go to YouTube teaching also, that is effective as well. It depends from man to man, but there you're learning in a video, you want to pause it now, you want to do it later, you don't want to take in, you want to take in, it's all up to you. You can control it, that is true, but I think I would always go for the old traditional method.
I think in a classroom it's more than just what you learn as in from your subject. It's also about a lot of other things, like you learn about community, you learn about sharing, you learn about equality,
definitely.
You learn empathy. There's a plethora of things that are on at display when you're in a classroom and you're learning. So it's just not about books at the end of the day.
No, see, every subject is multidisciplinary. Everything is connected. So if you're in a classroom, you're doing any subject, you're doing science, you're doing social studies, you're doing maths, you're doing English. And English has, as an English teacher, the classroom is so vast and wide. We are not just confined to a story, or we're not just confined to only Shakespeare. or Wordsworth, or Charles Dickens. No, we are talking about, we can talk about life, you can talk about maths, you can talk about science, you can incorporate all these details and then make it a fun, interesting class, which I think I don't know about the students this. I don't think you can interact like that in a online classroom.
Maybe at this point in time we can't, but in the next 7 to 10 years, maybe we'll have AR, augmented reality.
Yes,
and that would be different.
Definitely, maybe, but then I don't know. I feel, not because I am a teacher, also from the point of view that I used to look up to my teachers and like the traditional way of teaching, with the blackboard and the PPTs and the whiteboard. I think classroom teaching cannot be, done away with. That has to be there for that culture to develop, for that you need to incorporate these habits in a student. Unlike the fact that you're waking up in the morning. I done one chapter, I don't remember the chapter's name. In 2050, it says in class 9, where a man would, a child would wake up and go to the classroom in the next door room. Okay, and then the teacher would be a robot, and the teacher would come and today's history class. So until and unless you put the homework into the tray of the teacher, like the robot, so the teacher would not teach. And then if the robot gets stuck somewhere, the lesson is done, because the child is asking some questions and the teacher cannot answer certain questions. The class is done, or gets stuck due to some malfunction in the robot or whatever. So something like that was there in the chapter, which says to the generation nowadays that would you prefer that 2050 classroom or this classroom? And the narrative was by a grandfather who would say that, we would go to a building school, where we had classrooms, we would sit next to people, eat lunch together, communicate, talk, and there was diversity, but in that diversity we had unity. So things you get to learn many things, the multifacets, as they say, only when you come together. And man is a social animal.
Exactly.
You can't isolate man and say that internet will do it. You must be using all the platforms, right? Do you like it? Because I, sitting back at home scrolling the reels and talking to my friends only on WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram, I don't like it. I want to meet people. See, I came down to Shillong, I wanted to meet you. We met up, we are doing something together. I meet my friends, I go for a cup of coffee. I want to meet them face to face.
Right.
I am not the kind, I don't know about people nowadays, but I can't connect just through internet and platforms. So I think teaching also is like that. You have to connect with human beings, and in the end of the day, it's all about being human and talking to human. You understand their psychology, you understand their mentality, you understand a child's wants and needs only when you talk to them. I'll tell you, there are many cases like that which has come to me, and not because I'm a coach or I practice coaching people. I don't know, I have been fortunate enough that students really connect with me, and they come up with their problems, be it financial, be it emotional or whatever. So they would say, ma'am, I don't feel like living anymore. A class 12 student, man. You see a class 12 student with full zeal, because I am growing old. I'm older to them. When I see them, I want to go back to that age, and I want to do a lot more things which I did not get at that time. Like, we didn't have access to internet, we didn't have much money, we didn't have much exposure in Shillong, and we didn't have much freedom too. So nowadays kids have everything and still they don't want to live. Why? Because they have certain reasons which are not like reasons to give up life for. They need to understand that fact. But then the point is, why are they going through that emotional course? Why are they wanting they don't want to live anymore? Why they can't cope up with things? I don't understand. Everything is there, like they have everything at their doorstep and everything at their the tip of their finger, but still
I think when you get something without really making any effort, you don't really realize the importance of that. So, and then you want something more, you keep wanting. and maybe you are not as developed mentally, or your mental maturity is not there, and you think you want more, but you don't really know what you're seeking for, and that
True.
probably might be a particular issue that the generation is facing. Is that?
True, yes, because man is never happy. First thing, you have all the basic amenities in your house, everybody is giving you everything that you want, and even that you don't want, you're getting it, without any struggle. That is maybe one thing. Also, man is never happy. We have the habit of pulling all the pain and chaos in our lives when everything is perfect. We like to be sad, I feel, so the children nowadays are like this, like if they are very satisfied and contented elsewhere, and the other ways, they will find something that is harassing them or mentally torturing them.
I think it's just not about we like to be sad. It's about finding an objective to solve, a mission to solve. For instance,
But they don't solve it either, right? They don't solve it. They want to give up their lives because of this. I'm not saying all. There are few students like that. And when you talk to them, their reasons are very petty. I mean, like, of course, maybe when I connect things with me, I feel, oh, I have seen more struggle than they have seen. But for them, that struggle is more.
Don't you think a lot of them, I'm not saying all, but don't you think a lot of them are simply demanding attention?
That could be one case. Maybe because nowadays everybody
and I think
is
it's very woke to come up and say I am depressed. Everybody, in fact, is depressed.
Because that's what I said,
it's
man.
Woke. I am depressed.
Yeah, because they don't know what is.
I have that. I have this problem. I have that problem. It's sad that everybody has OCD. I don't really know how many actually go through the medical examination and stuff, but self-declaration is a very common pandemic, in fact, at this point in time.
True. No, see, that's what I said. Man tries to be unhappy अपने आप. खुद खींच के लेके आते हैं. Like, I want to be, like, it's not like I want to be sad, but somewhere, there's triggers in their mind that something is not there in my life.
So it's like, do you mean
I
to
feel.
say, do you, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off again. Do you mean to say, like, when I'm happy, I'm like thinking, okay, I'm too happy, I should not be this happy. And
See, people don't decide like this, people don't decide like this that, oh, I am very happy, I need to be unhappy now. The first thing I'd like to say is we are not always happy. I think we are always sad. It's just like, few days in life that we are happy. Our birthdays or somebody's party or something that we are doing or something that is really, very interesting to us. We get happy. But actually we are always grumbling with things. You check out with yourself. We are always grumbling. If this is fine, we are grumbling with this. If that is fine, we are grumbling with the other thing. Ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai. I am also like this. I'm not saying I'm not like this or I am very perfect. मैं भी ऐसी ही हूँ. ये है तो कुछ और चाहिए, कुछ और मिल जाता है तो कुछ और चाहिए. We are always grumbling, and this grumbling thing, it's become a habit, and they think that being sad is depression. Children nowadays and students nowadays don't even understand the meaning of depression. Depression is a disease. Mm-hmm. Depression is not a phase. They don't understand this. They think just because you are left out, you are depressed, or you broke up, you are depressed. It's not like that. Depression is a disease. If you are diseased, then you have to go treat yourself, right?
Correct.
So this thing, the children and the students these days don't understand.
But I would not completely agree with your statement when you say that we're always sad and we're looking, and there are only days when we're actually really happy. But I think this emotions is actually a spectrum. In a particular day, you'd have all 7 emotions going through you, and if you are actually happy all the time, that is also an issue.
See,
if you're sad all the time, even that is an issue. If you're happy, you're probably manic. I am not the right person to be giving names. I know this, so probably if you're happy all the time, you're manic, right? If you're sad all the time, you're depressed. But because you need to feel all the moods, right? And that is what makes you a human being. If you're able to feel emotions, if you're not feeling emotions, then you need help.
That's what I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. People think that they are, happy. Happiness is,
you can't be happy forever.
You can't be, exactly. You can't be sad also forever.
You can't be.
Yeah, you go through all the moods, like you said. in a day. But then what I'm trying to tell is happiness is not like, okay, I'm going to be happy today because I'm going to buy clothes for myself. I don't know, some people may find it happiness. That's a refuge. Some people may really find it being, happy, going, purchasing something, shopping and buying makeup. And because girls, I know, even I feel very happy, buying shoes and, jackets. I understand. But I'm not talking about that happiness. When you wake up in the morning, you realize that, okay, these are the shortcomings I have. Okay, I need to work out with these things. These are the things that I need to put, or maybe make the ends meet. That thing that is there to put, to make you go. I mean, like the motive that you're alive. You understand? So we know that back of the mind, all this thing is there. But happiness is a practice. You can't say that I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm happy today. Happiness is a practice. You need to be happy with the kind of situation you have. Now, suppose, for example, there is water in your house, okay? Flooded. Of course, you can't be happy, right?
Right.
Definitely, you're soaked in.
And you can't be happy. If you're happy, then that's an issue.
Yeah. So you want, what is your main idea now? To get the water out of the house, right? That is your main motive now. Once the water is out of the house, you're relaxed. You have done something. I'm like out of this trouble. But then you'll curse your life. What is this I'm going through and all that, right? That is what you're dealing with, right? But that is when the water is out of the house, you're not happy. You understand? You're not happy.
Yeah,
you have dealt with your life. But the person who practices to be happy will be happy when the water is out of the house. You understand? So happiness is a practice. You cannot be happy. Oh, like when you call me, come over, I'm throwing a party. Okay? Rooftop mein aa jao, ya kahin pe aa jao, party hai. So when the sound, the word party already sounds so interesting. Okay, something is there to do today. I'll wear on good clothes, go. That is, you're engaging yourself. You're not happy. Happiness comes from within. And within, when I speak about within, it's a practice. You understand?
I mean, I get your point, but you understand it's about when you're completing a task, and when you're attaining something, your mind after attaining that milestone will actually hit you with dopamine.
Yeah,
So
that is true.
dopamine is your happy hormone. Now, if you're seeking or chasing after cheap dopamine, then you'd be kept wanting for more. I mean, you understand the correlation. So it's
true.
like practicing to be happy does not necessarily means that you're gonna face or feel ecstasy every single time you do something that is needed to be done, but it is the daily mundane that you actually do will have a sense of happiness because you'll be
True.
more grounded to your reality, correct?
True. So see, I have 2-3 clients who I spoke to, and they are quite like stable in their life. Okay, they have money, they have family, they have children, they have diamonds, like how you would quote, like women would be happy. See, they have everything in their life: good job, good car, good house, and that's called success to many people.
Correct.
But when they attained that position, there are people who are telling me they're not happy. They're not happy. There are multiple reasons. Maybe because they're not married to the man they love or the women they love, or they wanted to do something else and they landed up somewhere else. They wanted to earn money, but in some way, in a different way, not this way. Man is never contented. So that's what I'm saying. Happiness is a practice. If in my situation, suppose I don't have a job, or I'm going through a lot, if I keep grumbling and if I keep shouting all the time, I am making it more troublesome for myself. Right?
Absolutely.
So if I practice to be happy and contented with what I have today, of course you have your aims and objectives and your, you can be very ambitious. You have a target to fulfill. We all have motives in life. If we don't have hope and motives, then there's no point of living. I mean, then what's the what's the motive of your life then? Everybody has a motive, right? Everybody has somewhere to reach. You want to reach somewhere. Somebody wants to buy a car. a bigger car, a bigger house.
I think that again is a very cheap source of accomplishment. Just to
But
buy
it
a car
depends. See,
and
some people are really, they get
that's
really
the
happy when they
no.
see money.
But I think that is the exact root of the issue or the problem.
Because the
if
society-
your motive is to buy a car, then it gets attained very quickly, and then you move on to something else.
Something
If
else.
if you don't
You keep shifting your.
exactly, and
Yeah.
then it keeps on growing, and
Correct.
that again is not the right way to deal with objectives.
But our society has set norms like that, right? If you have a car, you have a house, you have a,
Chori bangla or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a, you have everything in life, then you're successful. So the word success itself is, predetermined by people. The notion itself is already predetermined by people. So you can't teach a youngster that this is not success. Success may mean something else to you.
Exactly.
For them, success is money, Apple phone, getting a high position in, a job somewhere.
Corporate.
Yeah, and having a big house, a big car. So people tend to think like this, and then because you're made to think like this since you're growing. So people have that ideology same as their parents and their grandparents. They grow like that. Very few come out with their own thoughts and ideologies that no, success for me is something else. Some people find really peace and happiness in being happy when they do for others. I've seen.
Right.
They spend their entire salary doing for the
Underprivileged.
underprivileged or the orphans or the old age people. And I've seen that those, ऐसा नहीं है कि ऐसा लोग नहीं है, ऐसे हैं. And youngsters, trust me, who are younger to me, they go to orphanages, they go to old age homes, and they donate money. They feel really, relaxed and peaceful, and they come out and they are like so happy.
Yeah, because there's
You
a
know?
sense of attainment, right?
Yeah,
After you've
yeah.
done
So
that,
it
because you've-
depends, from people to people what success is.
I think the conversation here takes me back to Maslow's need hierarchy.
Okay.
Remember when they're like food, shelter, and security, right? So after you attain that, you move on to your
Luxury.
next luxury, and then you move on to the third phase. I can't exactly recall at this moment, but the need hierarchy needs to be spoken here at this point in time. I'll probably explain it in a book. So it's at the top pinnacle that you actually start thinking about life in a holistic fashion, and where you want to do things for a greater good, for a greater cause. Correct? I'm sure you have read about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I can't exactly recall because we were not prepared for this conversation, but since we're just here, I thought of
Yeah,
putting
see,
it out
so people, after attaining the basic things that we all are working towards, after that the main thing that nowadays is hitting everybody, I think, recognition. Everybody needs that fame and recognition.
That's a huge issue. That is again a
Yeah.
very big issue
And
because
for
some
this,
people
you see, people are doing whatever.
Exactly, and I think it's borderline soft porn to an extent, and it's also derogatory on a lot of counts too.
Some contents are derogatory because they think, and people are getting entertained by these things, as you said
That's
just
sad.
before we started with this conversation. They are getting entertained with these stuffs because people, I'll tell you why. I just came across one thought that when people scroll too much of reels and they are checking out others' vlogs and lives and all, somewhere they really want to do away with their tensions. Somewhere they just want to get transcended to some other level so that they forget their own pain. That is why people entertain those bad content also.
It is voyeuristic pleasure, no? That
Yes.
you're deriving,
Because you are in that run, you are actually forgetting your pain and your chaos, the chaos that you have in your life, and you're getting transcended. And for few minutes or few hours, I don't know people how regularly they do it. So for that few hours, you're transcended to a different zone. You're checking out others' lives. You're checking out others' reels and what they are doing. People check out reels. Somebody's waking up in the morning, brushing the teeth, showing you their daily life, the vlogs. You saw these vlogs, right? So why are they doing like this? Because there are people who are checking you out. There are people who want to know what is happening in your life. So that is, I think, they are concentrating in these things because somewhere in their life they want to just get transcended from their chaos, you know, from their pain, from their pangs that they have in everyday life. They just want to get away from it. You have noticed, I think, because when I see reels, I sometimes forget that there is something on the gas. You understand? I've put, so yeah, because you get so used, I mean, like, so you concentrate so much and you said you get so hooked up, you forget. See, a petty thing, I forget something is there in the gas. So imagine if you get accustomed to seeing reels and others' lives so much, you'll forget your own pain. And that is how people are taking refuge, I guess. They're forgetting their own pain and their daily lives chaos, and you know, all those you know, they get pleasure from these things, so they are actually deviating from things.
Well, I can't vouch on your gas example because I haven't been there. Seen
I have
that.
done this
But
because I've done this.
I think what I understand with this reel segment is people want to see something so that they feel good out of it, and reels
That's
are
what I'm
probably
saying.
30 seconds, correct?
Yeah.
So in that 30 second, your brain wants a hit of dopamine every single time
Exactly.
it watches that. So it's like, and you're not getting it all the time. So what happens
You
is
keep on
exactly, it's a vicious cycle. Then you're scrolling, you kept wanting for more,
True.
more and more. So what happens is the companies start earning, the advertisers do good, we end up buying products, and the society runs that way. So I think at the end of the day, we are also creating content.
Yeah,
but
we are
again,
also.
but again,
But
what,
I believe in creating some content which will be useful to the youth.
exactly.
I
exactly.
want to spread that awareness that the youth has the entire responsibility of the entire country on their shoulders. You know, I came across some people last night who were talking about Durga Puja. So they said, you know, Pinky, I'm really sad because, you know, after I die, that man said, who will do this puja? And that particular pandal, okay, I felt really bad. I was like, true, if this man dies, and I'll not name him and the puja pandal from where he is, but he said that once I am gone, or my mates of my generation are gone, the youngsters will not do this puja anymore because they're not interested. They don't want to learn. We call them, we engage them, but they're not, you know, they don't want to take the responsibility. They run away from all these things. And I remember my uncle, my father, or you know, my parents, how they would be involved in, you know, making a puja happen. How they would want that everything should go perfect, and how they would get involved all the 4 days in puja pandals. I have seen. But look at us. I mean, like, even me, I'm like, I don't go and help them or something. I give them donations, but I'm not helping them, no, physically. We need to, you know, because this generation runs away from responsibilities.
Correct.
I just gave you a minute example. There are many as such. They don't want to get involved.
I think you have a very valid point there, and somehow, if I'm not mistaken, I think it is Marshall McLuhan, and Canadian sociologist, who actually put forward this particular theory of global village, and how the entire world is being connected with television, if I'm not mistaken. If not internet, then it's television. It's either internet or television. I think it's internet, in fact. So what happens is, and we are actually seeing the results at this moment. It's all, it's like the culture is being homogenized at this moment. We don't have that diversity, and just like the way you put it, right? After this generation is done away with, we don't have a next generation, or they do not feel confident about a next generation who will carry this forward. So if they stop doing that, slowly but gradually, we'll all are being westernized, and that's the soft
somehow,
power that is being levied on us on a
True,
very
which we can't
subtle,
see.
it's a subtle war that we actually have,
which we were not being able to see
and
it.
maybe that's a very valid point, and that was put out way ahead, and I think we did not understand the gravity of that conversation, or the
See,
paper
nowadays,
that was
my batchmates are very few out here. You can see your batchmates also. क्या होता है? Because in here we don't have much industries and scope, so people are moving out. The youngsters are moving out for jobs, right? So the youngsters, because they're moving out of the state, they are contributing in another state, right? So even during pujas or Christmas, they're not coming back. They are not contributing physically, mentally, emotionally to this society. So slowly, there are few villages like that where people, youngsters are totally moving out, like Dehradun. People are moving out from there because in search of job and better life and city life and all that. So what's happening is the old people are becoming older. So the government is relocating these old people to different cities and areas so that they can stay with their families and youngsters, because that place is becoming empty. The youngsters are moving out. They don't want to contribute to that state. I would not also totally blame on it on the youngsters, because we don't have scope. Once we had scope, like why I also moved out, of course, for a better life, for a better job, better salary, right? But okay, my case is temporary, but what about the youngsters these days? Everybody is moving out, everybody. We don't have youngsters. I don't see youngsters. I mean, like, my batchmates are not there. I'm sure your batchmates are very few left in Shillong. So who will carry
The
this
market,
legacy?
see, there's no market in this particular region, and what happens is, you would want to be paid fairly, right? So you don't want to go back to a job where you're not given your dues.
True.
So that again is a different issue
Yeah, so you have
altogether.
all
So,
other factors,
yeah, and somehow I also feel that there's a reverse trend that is also there. I mean, it's probably not as big as the other trend is, where people are moving away, but I think there's also a slow life sort of a change that is coming in, and people are looking into that particular spectrum. And in fact, even in India, look at the villages. I've just been to Arunachal, and I've witnessed the festival, Zero Music Festival, and I've been a part of a particular camp, and going around the villages, the model villages, in fact, I think the entire landscape kind of took a change for the better because of that festival. And there's so much more, and it's beautiful. And I think a lot of youngsters who really want to make a name for themselves will start moving towards the villages, because it brings me back to Mahatma Gandhi again. He once said that India is a country that settles in villages, remember?
true.
So I think there's like a huge scope of development that is required in the villages. Just like in India, I think even feminism is as scatteredly understood like development in India, because of only 8 major metropolitan cities are developed to an extent, but the other cities are not. It's not there. Even the
True.
medical infrastructure is not up to
Pathetic,
mark.
pathetic.
Basic amenities are not there, and people really need to work with the rural section of the population to uplift the entire country. So I think there's a huge spectrum, a huge scope, which is still open, and it's open for people to explore.
True. So where we began from, so you were talking about the hierarchy thing, right? So we began from there. So that is what I'm saying. People in the course now, in order to get recognition and fame and identity, that identity crisis that they have. So for that, they are doing anything, and they will do anything. So I need this thing to be put forth to the youngsters these days, that life can be so productive. You have age, you have zeal, you have enthusiasm. Put it in the right path. That is what I want to. I want to inspire the youth whenever I meet them, or whenever I get a chance to talk.
Lovely. I think you're already doing a good job, a great job, in fact, and I hope your words reach the right ears at the right time.
I hope.
Right, and I think with these inspiring words, we'll come to a close of the particular episode. And I think we spoke like a lot, and
And
it was
time
nice.
just flew.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Same here, Amit.
And
Thank you.
yeah, so I look forward to seeing you guys again. And yeah, it just ended.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Alright.